All right. Hello,
Ranma
Pichan.
1.5. Hey,
Y-
Jam.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Uh,
about the Ranma episode.
yes, and this will be the third part of episode 12, and it'll be the last one for the week. We do have two Ranma episodes, episode 8 and episode 9. Uh, like I said, I think in previous times also, like I love the way they open the episodes with a recap and always done in like
Yeah,
different styles.
yeah. Different designs, animations.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
and
nice.
and this is the episode where we get introduced to ice skating, martial arts, I guess you could say, right? Because I think this is
hmm
we see Akane's ice skating kind of beautifully around, and
Yeah, the ice skating rink. Yeah, the ring. Yeah,
yeah, and girls are like all over her
with
trying to,
Peach-chan.
yeah,
Yeah, she's just hanging out with Peach-chan, doing her, minding her business.
yep.
When Akane forgets him, right? Because that's how it all started.
Um, yeah,
Akane
so
just kind of
she
leaves him
just,
on the.
I think Ranma tried to join into the skate ring, and or like something happened with Akane where she like kind of forgets about Pichan for a bit,
Yeah,
and
I think
then
she was also called by her friends too.
yeah,
And
and and then the girl Asusa picks him up and calls him like
picks him up
Charlotte.
and basically just
Steal,
adopts him like right
yes,
away.
kidnaps poor Ryoga. And I think Ranma sees it and he does nothing about it.
Well, yeah. Unless a problem, somebody else takes care of his problem, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then they kind of like go into like the food quarter area, I guess, or like a food store, because like to Akane, just Pichan going missing is just like a thing that happens. Doesn't
hmm
really She doesn't really question it because she knows that Pichan will come back somehow. So
Yeah,
him going gone wasn't really that worried,
but
but
but I think they tell her that he got kidnapped.
no, I think she was like trying to see if anybody's seen him, and then she
No,
spots.
I think they told her that she got kidnapped. That they have seen her picking him up because
Uh,
she started going more hysterical about
oh, okay,
like
yeah,
yeah, and then that's when she goes to look for Rama, and he's in the ramen shop, and you see his classmates like ask him about the pink belt girl and how her
yes,
Rama Satome too. They he needs to introduce it to her to them.
yes, because I think they think that that's his cousin or something like that,
Yeah.
and
hmm
and then come in the pretty girl, I guess, Asusa and Pichan.
Well, after Akane comes in, like
Yeah,
bawling and telling him to please help him look for Peach, and then they come in, and and then Ram is just like looking at that speech,
yep,
and then he's like, "Is this pig black?"
yeah.
Ram is stupid.
Yeah, he's so funny. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
then
just like, "But it's seriously, well, it's just that I think that's him, isn't it?"
yeah, and of course, they having a kind of battle over it, and here comes the pretty boy Mikado. That's just like all the girls are like, oh my god, he's so beautiful, like, and pretty much they end up the girl challenges Akane to like a ice skating match, and
hmm
to the winner gets Pichan or
Yeah.
Ryoga, you know,
hmm
and that's when Mikado kind of takes tries to take a kiss from Akane, and Rama did not take a liking to that, so he just like throws food
hmm
at him.
Yeah, throws him that little fish thingy in the ramen.
Yep. So now it becomes like a pair match, but pretty much it also becomes like kind of a contest between Ranma and Ryoga for a bit because they both want to pair up with Akane in this match,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
the only problem is they both suck ass. Like they can't skate.
Yeah,
Ranma's
they
just
can't. Yeah.
not to save their lives apparently.
But as soon as he heard that it had martial arts, he was like, okay, that I can. So,
Yeah, and
so
I
he's
mean,
determined.
yeah, he's gonna perform. I love how it starts off with them showing like a practice ring, and then they were like trying to get at each other, and then these couples are just like doing their like warm up routine, which is just like beat 100 man ice skating,
Yeah,
which kind of brought me back a bit to like when Akane used to do that every morning for all the guys in school.
yeah.
But yeah, so one thing led to another, and Rama turned into a girl, and then the guy got swooned by Ranma's girl appearances, and he stole a kiss from Ranma.
Steals a kiss. That's
Yeah, that's a that's a
like, and Akana's face,
yeah.
like in front of, and like Grandma said,
Yeah,
on it. Like,
yeah. I think that's what got him the most. It was the fact that it was in front of Akane that pissed him off the most, because then
yeah,
he just ran to take a hot bath, and to come out as a boy again, and he destroyed the rink. Like he used his fist and destroyed the rink. I do believe.
hmm yeah.
And
Poor then
oh, oh, it
they
wasn't that he didn't destroy the rink yet. I think he
no, that was real in the next
yeah, he gets into like another tussle trying to get at him, right? And the guy's just like using his ice skating technique, which is like the death something, which apparently like once you get caught in it, you're like mincemeat or whatnot, right? So Rama takes like 400 hits or something like that to like, and each time he was getting hit, he was like hitting him back or something like that, or like try to,
one.
or was able to get a couple like exchanges in enough to like make the guy like just stand still.
Yeah,
And Rama won the he essentially won that warm up match.
yeah. Yes, he did.
And and I love how like after Mikado's like just frozen, everybody just grabs a marker and it just starts like marking him because he's unconscious. And and then we go back to like the Akane household, and everybody's kind of making fun of Ranma because he got that was his first kiss.
His first kiss. Poor Rama, for
Yeah,
real.
yeah. Which I just want to keep saying like this is kind of like just reinforces the fact that Rama's having to deal with a lot of the stuff that women are dealing with, where like men just like force themselves upon him. So
Hmm
I think that's also kind of like playing a factor into how he's seeing his feelings for a kind of girl, where
hmm
he gets the part where maybe it's
Why she hates man?
yeah, why she hates men in the first place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he always hated men.
I
I
do.
like that Akana's the most like one that sympathizes with him, right? Like,
Yes, he
oh,
is.
was that really your first kiss? Like,
Yep.
well, don't let it get to you, kind of thing, Like, let me patch you up and all that thing, and then she's trying to be her little tough self, and says,
Yep.
"Well, you left yourself open for that, like."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Well, you leave yourself open."
All the time, and then catches her off
Yeah,
guard.
like exactly. And then what happened? They're like he fucking grabs her for a kiss, and he doesn't actually kiss her, right? Like they're just like
No, he just plays a bit.
they're looking at each other's like eyes, like,
Yeah, but I do like the fact that he
and then they
stops.
go back. They go back, and they're like, "Oh, you don't have the guts. Oh well, are you sure you want my first kiss with me?"
Yeah,
Like, and they get like dragging it by talking about it, and then Naviki's like, "All right, you guys, are we gonna do it or not? We have things to do."
yeah, they turn red, but
Oh,
very
what about Rama? To tell the truth, it's like
yeah,
such a healthy like comedy, like in a way. Even though
Yeah,
it's like super abusive because they are like always destroying and hitting and martial kind
yeah.
of thing. But
It's just like a nice, healthy healthy laugh to kind of like they're building their relationship through uh their experiences with one another, kind of like also like how you do in fighting. So I think that's really good. But I like that Rama did stop the first time because he felt conscious that maybe this she wasn't feeling it. Like he did think to himself like, is she gonna be okay with me being the first one, right? And
yeah, yeah,
because
I did think that his reasoning wasn't a bad one, you know,
yeah,
like he wasn't really seeing, you know, like, oh, I don't want to kiss you, you know, like
yeah,
you know, like you're ugly, but you know, nothing like, yeah, exactly. I thought
yeah, he was just
that was
being
a nice development, you know.
yeah, he was just being very considerate of her feelings, which was something he didn't have the choice in for his first kiss, which is why I think he stopped himself in the first place. He didn't want her first kiss to be tainted like his. So very nice of him. But yeah. So now we get into episode 9, which is now pretty much on. We're starting the to gear up towards the match now. Ranma and Ryoga are still fighting. You know, Ranma basically puts Ryoga as Picha once again by splashing water on him. I do believe. And then we know what happened to Ryoga. He gets tied to the trophy because oh we didn't
Because he's Peach, huh?
yeah we didn't mention this, but Ryoga gets kind of like this what is it
Color, yeah.
like this choke necklace, right?
Yeah, the color, yeah.
Yeah, that says
The animal
Charlotte.
color.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I do like that they were like all of them were like in their own like waiting room or dressing room, I should
Mhm.
say. And this is when Mikado kind of like proclaims to Ranma, I'm gonna steal a kiss from her this match, and
Mhm. Oh, but before that, I like that Ryoga makes it to the school right after having struggle because he struggles, and you can see the fucking Ramens waiting for him, you know,
yeah,
because there he goes, like splashed in water, and
yeah,
then says, "Oh, Ryoga, don't worry, I'll take care of this with the Kane." Like,
yeah, yeah. Ranma was very calculated in that. He was like,
yeah,
I'm not letting you ruin this.
yeah, like you. Oh man, those two definitely
Quite a good friendship they have going on. Um,
for real.
but yeah, I mean, after the
And
rest
then they goes to the change room, and he declares basic war to Rama by saying they steal a kiss from Akane.
yeah, and yeah, and pretty much then afterwards, um, Mikara and Asusa, they're getting into the entrance, and they have like this really nice flashy entrance, where they land every single trick perfectly. And
Right.
Ranma in his head is like, okay, we can match that, like just follow me, and he just like jumps in with the Kanyas in his arms, and it instantly starts sliding, and he has to like bend his well, he basically lands with like on his head, and then he just uses his head to kind of like decrease the speed at which he's sliding at to finally like make their entrances, and it's just a nice little differentiation between the two. Like you can tell one is like very professional, all this, right, and then this one's just like Rama's just like a real amateur at this, you know. But
A real wing. Yeah, just going with the wing.
yeah, and I did think that I also like the that Ranma, like before getting in, he this does tell the kind of like try to stay away from him, because he doesn't
Yeah.
want her first kiss to be stolen by him. But it didn't matter because like when they did their move, pretty much the guy just dug Ranma and got in between them, you know,
Hmm.
and almost like stole the kiss anyway. But luckily, Ranma was like got Sakana back, you know, and
Yeah. Yeah. So the tournament is really, or yeah, right. Pichen is like stuck in there.
yeah,
Um,
um,
they're fighting. They're going for the fucking kiss, and
yeah,
then they're getting ready for like this other deadly, right? Which is like this carousel like
yeah.
thing.
I do like that before the deadly move, like Rama gets a better on them by like uh using Akane to kind of trick the guy into like not paying attention to him. Right? He launches Akane like up in the air and then just goes for like a rip blow
Mm-hmm.
and then just catches her. But like obviously this being Rama, it just backfires because he does not know how to stop in the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So now he has to do this crazy stunt where he has to land a backflip on the ice, right? And then they get caught by that deadly maneuver,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which really interesting that the whole point of that was because he's the guy is just spinning his partner who grabbed Ranma, who the Ranma has grabbed onto Akane, right? Basically, he's just spinning all three of them around as fast as he can, and the only way to like stop is to like for the partner to let go. Apparently, right? The partner lets go, and that at least that person doesn't end up being as badly hurt because this was supposed to be like one of like doom or something like that. But Ranma being Ranma, he's just kind of like, nope, I'm not letting go. Like no matter what Akane tried to do, like Ranma just was not gonna let go of her at all. And you know, I do like that he does declare also like Akane to be like his fiance, right? And that's why he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't let her. He doesn't want to. He won't let the guy do as he pleases with her. So yeah, the combo tag is vicious. The girl eventually like gets tired, the Mikado's partner, and lets go of them. So they
I
both,
like the his partner's not really helping him, even though it was her that
yeah,
got him into all this mess.
yeah,
But I
exactly,
love him.
yeah. It's and you know pretty much the fall is gonna be vicious, and Rama just catches Kane and takes like the blunt force of the fall, and also like he slides into the wall, and now Akane is kind of like, damn, you know, like you're got hurt because of me, you know, kind of like feeling regret
Mm-hmm.
for Rama being hurt, and then Rama's just, oh no, he was just listening to her, like kind of like weep a bit, and it's like, nah, I'm fine, you know, not. But then he gets up, and you just hear like the his bones just like, you know, and basically like you know, as the guy said, like you know, this move will have all your bones fracture. So technically, Ranma's not even supposed to be able to stand up, and it kind of does her best to tell him to lay low and stuff, and you know, not to push himself because she's worried. And it's nice because now we have a little more softer side that Akane has grown to liking Ranma a bit for as well, which you know
Yeah.
just brings me back to like when the doctor kind of told Ranma like you know she's soft, you know she may have like a very hard exterior, but in the inside she's a soft person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my god, it was so annoying though. At that moment, also Ryoga tried to put in rain,
Yeah,
and
he finally
and
transforms.
like and fucks it up because he always sucks it up, and instead of kicking Rama out of the station, he kicks Akane.
Yeah,
So
now it's
so they're having like a moment there about that, trying to figure that one out.
yeah, and it doesn't go too well for them. They get caught in the same maneuver, you know. And but of course in this one, it's Ranma that's on the receiving end, and he's not trying to let go, and Ryoga is the one that's like punching him and stuff to let go. So basically, Ranma is forced to let go, and then what ends up happening is the guy tosses the girl, and the girl does like this cartwheel on him, and Ryoga does lands like flat on his neck, but forwards, or like his chest, and it's just like a crazy way to like fall. I saw that, and I'm like, oh, there's no way he's okay. And of course,
Hmm.
the guy catches Ranma and is like, oh, having it, he ends up being in his own little world because now he finally has, the Ranma the with pink hair now in his arms again, and he was like,
Yeah, I honestly enjoyed that animation design
yes,
that both had for the flashback of that kiss, right?
yep,
Obviously she sees him as he sees it, sorry, he sees it as a traumatic event,
yeah,
while he sees it like a flower, flower feels like moment.
yeah,
And but the design was like so funny because especially Rama's like design was like this kind of cartoonish, like broken, like
Ye-
stick
it was
figure.
like it was like old school like shojo.
It was just so funny. I just thought it looked so funny. Like
Yeah,
that. This guy is dead. Like this guy, they really kill him with that. They kill him inside.
yeah, and of course, Ranma did not like let him kiss him this time, and Ryoga got so mad that he's the one that breaks the ring,
Oh, yeah, stupid yoga.
and
Yoga
now,
is so stupid for real.
yeah, now he realizes,
Yoga, why are you being stupid? Like,
yeah, yeah, now he realizes that, oh shit, I'm surrounded by cold water, you know, and Ranma's like, well, I'll be fine because I'm already a girl, but you, he's kind of like, oh shit, if I fall, they're gonna not they, but like Akane's gonna know that I was the pig all along, right? Both figuratively, and literally, because he's picturing like, oh, if Akane finds out, she's gonna disown me. She's gonna call me a creep for like turning into a pig just to get close to her, you know. So yeah, I like how that kind of like ends it, and pretty much now we're set up for like the final clash in the next episode. So I mean, I don't know how Rama plans to end this, or maybe like Ryoga will just like bow out, be like, okay, I got a stomach ache or something, and Akane can take center stage or something.
well, there was a moment where he was able to get a Kana right and say, "Okay, Kana, go," and she's like, "Right." Like,
Yeah,
so I thought, good for Ryoga.
yeah, but yeah, Ryoga was was like the instigator and the problem maker these past two episodes, pretty much,
Yeah,
which is just kind of I guess his thing, but
yeah,
we'll see
yeah.
how our our group our couple here makes up for it. But that'll be it for this one. On to the next one. Orb, Movements of the Earth, episode 9. So we're back to where we kind of left off with the guy that was doing everything for like 20 years, right? The prof- the professor
Yeah,
of
we had like a little, yeah, background story or a little flashback.
yeah, about the Piest, I believe.
Yeah, the noble that dedicated his life to this research, right? And became like the symbol, or like the symbol for it to even become,
Yeah,
have a research.
yeah, the who he was the symbol now, but like it was about how his professor wanted him to like pretty much take the mantle, which I thought was kind of like reminiscent of how this entire series has been, where like people are trying to prove that you know the church's teachings are wrong. So like and the
Yeah.
heretics carry on the other
Mm-hmm.
the others research basically, and now here we have like this way where the people that are doing trying to do the exact same way, the exact same thing, but like just to prove that the church is right, you know. So I do like that we have this duality here,
Mm-hmm.
and basically the professor was gonna be like, I don't have a lot of time, and I think you would be like the perfect candidate to complete this research
Yeah.
when I'm out, right? And pretty much he Peace denied it because he's like, I'll probably never be able to, and it was
Yeah.
and just like on a random day, I think he looked at the sky and he saw something. He's like, nah, that must have not been right, and that was what led him to not want to pursue it a bit at first, like we know
Yeah.
later, because he didn't think he could do it, but then
But I really like that at the end, or at the end of this professor's life or whatever,
yeah,
he 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 said, he leaves, or his last words are that it really, at the end of the day, even though their pretext is to prove the church right,
yeah,
it could lead to actually proving them wrong, and and that's okay for them, because at the end of the day it's the truth,
yep,
that they're seeking for, like they're seekers of the truth, like that's what really, that's where, yeah, that's where their passion really lays, to know what the truth,
yeah.
you
But
know
also like the guy that did make this theory that this piece was trying to prove, he did kind of like he did want the truth, but he also wanted to make the last of his entire life not feel like it was meant for nothing, right?
yeah, yeah, of course,
But and that's
wasn't wasted.
yeah, and that's why the guy decided to take it on because he wanted to prove that he was right, and then eventually when he left Earth, he would be able to tell him, you know, this is the truth of the cosmos, right? You were right all along. That was like the
Hmm.
initial plan until he he wanted to test these guys that came in like Badini and Oxy, test them to see if like they would be able to prove that their theory was correct. So basically, he just told them how it is, right? Like, you know, there's a first of all, let's prove that Oxy has good eyesight, and he pretty much does because he was able to
Yeah,
notice.
dude, that little test was legit.
Yeah, that was
Like, I mean, not legit, because obviously that sneaky old man was being sneaky,
yeah,
but like the fact that he was able to still,
yeah,
like, yeah, still, still got it, like, still
yeah,
did it.
yeah. It was
Mm.
pretty great that he was able to do that.
Mhm.
Be able to see that it was not even a full circle; it was like a half circle. You
Mhm.
know,
It was both. He said, like he's.
yeah, it was missing a half or something like that. Sneaky, like you said. Um, so with that out of the way, he pretty much told him like, you know, there's during a certain day, during that certain day where he thought he saw something that he shouldn't have, or that was he thought was a mistake. He
Mhm.
said, I thought that I saw the complete version of Venus,
Venus. Yeah.
which if true would mean that this entire thing was was already disproven, this theory that they've been
Mhm.
putting countless of years and hours into, you know.
Yep.
And it would also make the heliocentrism kind of like have a more legit truth to it. But obviously, if they couldn't see it, then it would mean that it's false, and they were probably gonna get turned in as heretics. You know, so
Mhm.
everything really relied on Oxy's eyesight. You know,
Yep. And
and
he felt it, right? He knew it. Like, it's like, I feel like I'm gonna change something
yep,
doing it. Something's gonna change, like, and I like how the other dude was like, not necessarily it's gonna change anything. It's just going to lead us to
finding out the truth. You know,
to be able to prove that. that um that we did, that the the things have an understanding of their own. It's not a belief, you
Yeah.
know. Like think like there is truth, like we've it's not like the truth was always there. It's just that we finally understand it,
Yeah.
like we basically
The starting
made
line.
the truth be explained by beliefs, like
Yeah.
you need to believe this, you need to believe that for you to understand reality,
Yeah.
but in this series, it's more about, okay, let's um, be scientific about the truth,
Yep.
not just believe, like let's be scientific about the truth, and that's it,
Yeah.
and that's the truth,
Yeah.
and there's no way that that's not the truth,
Y-
like.
Yeah. And I do like
So I
also.
really like that about this show.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do like that even Yolenta was kind of like trying to persuade him, or like how do you say, like motivate him, uh give him support, about it, because she saw that the reason why he's having all this doubt and all this anxiety build up is
Hmm.
because like the world that Oxy news is only like filled with pain and stuff, and he doesn't really see the beauty of the world yet. And
Hmm.
but this she tells him, like, or reassures him, like, there is beauty everywhere in this world. and
Agreed.
and Oxy also kind of like goes goes to goes and tells like Bedini before everything, right? Like, even if I do see it, there's no guarantee that the guy will accept it as the truth, right?
Right.
And that's when you say like Oxy pretty much, or like Bedini just tells him, like, this is the belief that is proven, right? Will be the truth
Hmm.
anyway.
Hmm. It's like you can blindly believe or you can understand, you know,
Exactly.
like
And
like and obviously for someone that has dedicated their whole life, into understanding, even it, and that's another point that this series did in this episode. I say, like they it was about like this man really feeling that he had wasted life,
yeah.
but his life, like, but he really tells him, right, like that, because he was saying like how would I have created all this and then it amounts to nothing because it wasn't even the truth, it wasn't
Yes.
like, it can be debunked by something else, and then I feel like the other priest kind of said to him like, well, the truth, like the truth needed this so
Yeah.
it can kind of shine, like it needed to debunk this so you can kind of see where it lies, like
Yeah.
where it actually leads to, like where you actually find the truth, like in a way, like you have to find all these things that are not it to kind of see where it is, like
Yeah,
so
basically, no matter how many years
it,
were dedicated to trying to figure out the truth, it will, it, not that it didn't matter, but it just is the accumulation that eventually will led to this
will
being the
lead
truth.
to the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was not
Yes.
wasted, because
It
they are
was
gonna,
never
yeah,
wasted. Yeah.
they're eventually gonna get to the truth.
Yeah, it
And
was really, really well done. But
yeah, I was,
so
yeah, that's why he was like kind of reluctant at first to like give the key, but he did end up giving the key, and he started like even doing his own like little doodles at the end, about like this new system that they proposed. And he does die that day and drops the book,
mm-hmm.
but he was able to look at the sky, and I think, just like most times in this show, like when people look at the sky, just they're finally shown the truth, or like they see the beauty in the world. And he's
Mm-hmm.
able to put his hand up and be like, okay, well, Professor, I'm finally gonna be able to like tell you the actual truth when I see you.
Right.
Yeah, and so good. But I think this like wraps up with or like comes close to, we have like another thing with like Yolenta and Oxy. They're kind of like having this like really nice dynamic where Oxy's kind of like a student and she's kind of like um trying to guide him in a way, because Oxy's like, okay, well, he doesn't quite understand because I guess of his place in the world. He's like, he doesn't read, he doesn't write, so like he asks her like like one of the basic questions that we take for granted now, like how if reading and writing are good, right? And
Yeah.
pretty much she just tells him like
Yeah, what's so great about it? Like,
yeah.
and
And
she really gives like a perfect explanation, really. Like she really, I like how she says that it's like a miracle
yep.
because it transcends uh, time and space.
Yeah, it basically lets her lets everybody connect through everybody that's in the past, kind of
Yeah,
like
it's like a
kind of
time machine. Is like the closest thing to a time machine.
yep. And that's the way they can the past can communicate with who the present, which I thought was really
Hmm.
really cool, good way. And obviously Professor Diane was the or like the Prius Diane, he was, that's how it ended. And we get into like now episode 10.
Hmm.
And Badini comes, this is like a very big Badini episode where he comes in
Yeah,
and kicks Oxy out of the barn that he was gonna
the
let him.
barn. He's so rude to him.
Yeah, he is.
So rude. And then he sees him that he like started to read or write, and he's like, "Oh, you're making me want to throw up."
Yeah, which you know he has a very,
Ooh.
which kind of is very different into how he sees it compared to Jolanta, because he sees it as kind of like a privileged skill that not everybody
Mhm.
should have access to, because it
Not just that, according to him, it's like a responsibility.
yes.
You have that privilege, you have a responsibility, and he doesn't like understand why someone without education would even like interested in it, like, or I mean, or wouldn't be, to
Or
him it's like they'll be spreading misinformation. But I like that he is a simple man.
yeah, he
He's
is.
like, no, I just want to write a diary.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to lecture anyone. I'm just trying to like, you know, just
He wanted to write
write
about his story, and
just about it. Yeah, just about his story. Just
and
reminiscing about his life. Like,
yeah.
please.
Yeah, and he pretty much said that'll get us in more trouble. I'll be burning everything you write.
Right.
I'm like, oh
He's
wow.
fucking. Yeah, I know. He's such a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he is.
And then he tells him to make a ton.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
like,
my
God
god.
damn it! Like you have like no shame. Like
Yeah,
what a
he
thousand.
really. So yeah, he kicks him out. And then he gets later found out. Sleeping in the job, I guess, with the father or the church, which the kids just ask him like a very like simple question, or like like a kind of like kid question, like where the rainbows come from, and he has no answer. So
Oh yeah.
he goes to
Yeah.
Bedini, and Bedini's like, "You think I'm gonna give you that info for free?" You know?
Being who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously he gets more ink and paper, and he tells him the whole scientific breakdown of it, and he's like, "I see. How do I explain that to kids?" And he's
Like,
like,
not my problem.
"He is not my problem." And I do like that they go into this like depth conversation about like all these philosophers and stuff.
Hmm.
And pretty much they come to the conclusion of like, basically he tries to tell him like, why do you read all this stuff, right? And he has to go back and be like, yeah, I read all this stuff to get a better understanding as to why you know how to better the church and how to prove the church right, or something like that, right? Giving him this like
Hmm.
very BS answer to not lead to because he knows like one of them specifically could lead to people him thinking he's a heretic and whatnot. So he's very
Mhm.
careful what he tells them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This guy is a calculative, like, yeah, well, manipulative motherfucker. Not even like, well, yeah,
Yeah, and
not so much calculative as he is. I want to say, or
he's
he's just
he's just
he
very
just wants to be ahead. Yeah,
yeah,
he just doesn't want to be. I want to say restrained. You
yeah.
know, like,
He doesn't like feeling restrained. He wants to
yeah, like
he
likes to control. You know,
yeah
like,
he
and
knows
he's not necessarily trying to control people. He's just not trying to be controlled. You know,
yeah,
like,
and he realizes that the way to be more free in this world is through knowledge. That's why he values it so much,
hmm
and why he was so hard on Oxy prior to like
hmm
for him learning and trying to learn and write, right, learn to read and write.
hmm
And he pretty much says the same thing he tells Oxy, to this guy, and this guy does not really. He at first he was like bath mouthing him on the way back, but then he
hmm
comes to a realization. Okay, well, he just maybe he has a point to all this, right? Maybe it's better for people to like not really know how to do this, and
yeah.
and then at some point, he comes into he just comes out of his like zone, and he's hearing people talk about Badinian Church and how he was betrayed by one of his friends that tried to steal his research, and
Yeah, that was also interesting to get a little background story of him, you know.
yeah,
Um,
and how he got his scars because he was in a duel,
yep,
and it was like prior to him becoming a clergy,
yep.
so
So
people,
it was all fair, like,
yeah, it was all, and pretty much because of how he was, the church pretty much scrubbed him of that duel, like they kind of like hid it. Uh,
mhm,
and the reason why they know is because he was telling people about his scars, I guess.
mhm.
And
Yep.
that's why he's very tight-lipped on knowledge. He doesn't want people to know because I think he's afraid
Yeah,
of getting betrayed once again with more people knowing.
agreed. Agreed.
But
But don't know what to do with it.
yeah, and he the clergy then asks him like, why do you keep studying so much? And that's when he tells him like, well, it's because it would be a waste of my talent not to.
Damn it. Yes, he's arrogant. Like, god damn, this guy is like one of the most arrogant characters I've ever seen in the anime history. Like, god
Yeah,
damn, this guy.
yeah, he did. So that's why he continues his research to further the church and stuff to, you know, not let that talent go to waste. And we have we have a little like scene with like the new. Well, we have a scene with him like going back to the studies and having trouble trying to understand why things were not like matching up to his calculations.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like struggling. He thought maybe the at one point he's like maybe the other stuff is right and this is all wrong because the circles don't match up, right? And then he figured like no, this the heliocentrism has to be correct. And I think he realized what he was missing after he found the necklace that Oxy left behind.
Yeah.
And he realized it wasn't a perfect circle that was like going around in the solar
Which
system.
is which it was one of the like, well, it's not that it's not a perfect circle. It's that apparently it's tilted.
Yes.
You know, our solar system is
Yeah.
tilted, you know, um so the degree of their rotation per se, or the way that they rotate, it's more of a I want to say not a ring but of a sphere, because it's like a circle, you know, like it's more of
Mm,
dimensional thing, you know, instead of just like a linear thing, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So that really really, even in our lifetime, it's people don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
They still don't believe that makes any sense. But for scientific, it's the only thing that makes sense, because it's when the math adds up, right?
Yep.
It's when the math actually like makes sense, and you can kind of predict, and it actually moves towards that. They're able to calculate with that.
Yeah.
Make able
Exactly.
to make like perfect calculations and predictions, and therefore that's why for them this is the absolute truth.
Yeah.
Because
And now
yeah,
he finally does it.
it
He's
was
like he
incredible.
yeah
It
he
was incredible to see the show discovering that moment, and his,
yeah and
how
he
they on this show, how it happened in this.
yeah and
Uh,
he was like I completed it, you know, and
and
uh, oh
this one gets the news that the dude died, right?
yeah, well it was prior, I do believe. Uh,
Because he was like, "Oh, we're
oh, or
gonna have
maybe it
to
was
fight."
or maybe no, it was this because
Yeah,
then
it was.
yeah, because he does talk back to Oxy and is like, all right, you can have the
Yeah,
born back. I
yeah,
completed.
exactly.
Yeah, I remember now, and yeah, that's this portion of it, and then the ending is just the bishop comes in to uh give a speech to the new inquisitors.
Oh my god, that was so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
Again, again, it's like, um,
brainwashy.
yeah, brainwashing, because it's like you don't have to understand, you just have to believe to understand.
Yeah,
Like,
basically,
like,
we wouldn't lead you
if you
astray.
want to understand, just believe.
Yep.
And yeah, and we meet like the new candidates that are gonna like take the place of this dude that has been like.
I mean, they're just gonna work under him for now because he's still gonna train them, I think.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Nawak
but
is
this
back.
dude is getting old,
Yeah, he is.
so I'm sure we're not gonna get him too much longer as the main villain per se. Like
Yeah, I
the
don't
guy
think.
who's the hunter per se.
Yeah,
Who's hunting.
but no, yeah, super super great way to end it with uh
I
you
feel like
know
this was a way to introduce us where they're all coming from, where they
yeah
get
yeah
fabricated.
yeah exactly. Good way to tell us where they all coming from and why they're all brainwashed. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Orb continues to be good. I'm excited for more.
Mhm.
I do hope that hopefully I don't think these are gonna be the final characters. I feel like something's gonna happen,
No, no, I don't think they're gonna be the final character either.
but
And
I think they're gonna push forward this initial wave, and then other people are gonna prove this theory to be correct. Because I think when they're done, it's just gonna be a theory that people are not gonna take for granted, right, as the truth, and somebody else is gonna have to go in there and prove them right once again. But it'll be
mhm.
like a completed theory now.
Mhm.
But obviously, with how brainwashy everything is, people are gonna hunt them down and stuff. Um,
Agreed.
but yeah, good episode. Uh,
Sweet.
onto onto the next show.
Sweet.
Magical Girls, Magical Girls, Megilumiere Magical Girls Inc. Episode
Mhm.
8. We finally got our girls back. You know, Hitomi, Kana, they're finally back together. They're getting ready for a Magical Girl Expo.
Yep, they're going to do the fun things for work, right?
Yeah,
Like attending expos in the name of work.
yep,
She was saying how they get free tickets because they are actual magical girls. Well,
yep, they do.
everyone else in the team have to pay.
Yep.
Um,
I,
but
they got
uh,
discount, I think, though, right? Or some.
yeah, I mean, it should at least.
Yeah,
So, and I'm sure they got connections too, so can't be that bad.
yeah, right.
Um, yeah, so we see that everyone's, have their category there. You can say like
They
they
meet.
have their own area of interest that they're excited for,
Yep.
and
And one of the engineers that Nico knows, or like the ones he looks up to, kind of like come over and try to ask Kana, and he told me about the magic that they supposedly invented, right? Because it's
right,
like brand new, not
they
on the book.
developed right.
Yeah,
Developed at the spot during that incident.
yeah, the last mission for sure. And pretty much they kind of like pass it off to Nico, but Nico's not too good at meeting new people and stuff, so like he just kind of shines away from it. And they just give him their contact cards, and it's like, okay, well, contact us if you want to talk about it in more in depth later, right?
Hmm. Right.
And Nico's like, oh, I just got the card from these people, right? I really
And
look
we
up to.
even get like a little flashback about his life, right?
I think that's in
Like
the next episode, or
is it?
yeah, it's in the next
Oh,
one. But
oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're all excited for their own like little trip to the here. Obviously, we even have like the boss from AST that's there playing video games, just
Hmm.
essentially just showing up. I guess he was just scouting magical girls to
Yep.
hire,
Yep.
and
Just seeing the competition, you can say.
yeah, and seeing the competition, seeing how much he has to really worry about, and
Hmm. Hmm.
kind of notices that there's a exhibition by the second company, that's the second best company of magical girls. They're having a showcase for how to handle mutation kai, and she gets
Right.
everybody to kind of go and see this lecture or whatnot, right? This expo, and they get in there, and it seems pretty good. Like everybody's having a good time. Then they bring out this kai, and it's just like a typical plant kai, they say, right? So it's
Right. Like the least dangerous, the least um, concerning one, the one that they can seem to have control and be able to.
yeah, and they pretty much injected with this magic thing that causes the mutation itself. And then they're like, don't worry, we got the tech. We have these like fire bullets, or like this bullets that are shoot out high grade magic that'll calm the kai down, right? And it was supposed to be like this showcase for this new invention that was gonna revolutionize magical girls and be able for them to be able to handle kais on their own, essentially. And it pretty much backfires because
Mhm.
it was not able to contain the kai mutation, and now the whole expo is in trouble of like, being destroyed by this kai. And
It's doing it again.
so then the kai the kai basically has things all enough
Beyond beyond their preparation seems
it's
like
like,
they were prepared for a mutation, but this happened to be beyond the mutation they were prepared for.
yeah, because it did not stop at all, so it kept on growing and growing. So now this really put like all the magical girls in, like, well, the two magical girls in a predicament where now they have to actually get involved in this, and which is like completely different to what the guy from AST was. He just stayed playing video
Mm-hmm.
games, and he let
Yeah,
he was pretty much, well, we don't have a
he was
contract.
waiting for the work order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, we don't have a contract with them. We don't have a work order with them. I'm not wasting my resources on them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
until we have that. So this guy stays playing his video game, and Kana and them are left to kind of try to subdue this mutation. And the guy's pretty much like, oh well, you can't really do this on the fly. It's this is not something that anybody can just like come here and do. We need to actually get these people that have the firepower to do it, and they pretty much are like, don't worry, we got each other, and we're used to this kind of thing of like scouting and doing things while in action.
Yep.
And it's working out pretty well. They're like telling Nico what to do, what magics they need for the certain time. They're like also like pretty much scouting to see what the Kai is capable of now. And but it comes to the burden of Nico not having enough processing power to input all the magic and all this other stuff along with it, right? So his magic starts getting delayed and delayed, and he's no longer able to keep up with the demand that Nico, Hitomi and Kana are telling him. And you can really see it in Nico's face, like the pressure that this is
Yeah.
building on him, and he's it feels like it was gonna be kind of like a big panicky moment, but also like I figured at one point he's gonna remember what they're all about and be able to like kind of communicate better with them, and
So, yeah.
so that's what ends up happening in the next episode, episode 9, where we it basically kicks off where it left off with Nico and pressure, and then it takes us back to his backstory right before he going to the company.
Yep, where he's like just taking part, like having it as a hobby, um, getting into competitions. And he even realized in the competitions that there was people better than him, right? Or that people wanted different, like other things from it, or they were looking for other things that he wasn't,
Yeah, he
putting too much like importance in.
yeah, because he put all the he was such a nerd at it that he did way above beyond what the contest even held, which we know that because the president was looking into him prior to him entering or like as soon as he entered the contest, he was looking at him or had knowledge of him entering the contest because that was around when he graduated is around the time when he graduated college was around the time when they were looking for their own engineer now in Magilumiere, and the president didn't just want anybody. He's like, I want somebody that's like as magically obsessed as us.
Passionate.
Yeah,
Yeah, who's just passion for it,
yeah,
all this drives him is the passion for it.
yeah, and that's what
Yeah, so that was
Nico.
pretty legit.
Yeah, that's what Nico had to the point where like, whenever he tried to talk to people about it, they were kind of like, "Oh, you're kind of like too passionate about it, dude." Like
Right, like you take it too seriously, like you're, yeah.
it should be just like a kind of like. So he just decided to keep it less as a hobby ever since then, and just pretty much isolated himself, and that's how pretty much we know he's not too accustomed to talking to people because he feels that they're always gonna notice him in this way that his high school friends used to, or his high school peers
Mhm.
used to see him. And when he gets the call by the president from Magilumiere, the president's like, we want you because we noticed from your high school entry uh, that you put all this thought into it, and you're exactly the kind of person we need. And he's like, well, he tries to turn him down at first, saying that he's not really,
Yeah.
he just wants it as a hobby because he really doesn't want to be critiqued about it, right? Or like be looked down upon for it. And the 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 president pretty much lets him know, like, this isn't just criticism, we're gonna give you feedback. And he's like, he's trying to understand, okay, but what's the difference between criticism and feedback? And he's like, well, criticism is like one-sided, and with feedback, will help you understand your shortcomings, and it'll help us better to connect to one another and help each other out.
Hmm.
And it's like that's what we're gonna be all about, and that's the company the president kind of pitched to Nico. And you know then that kind of after that backstory, Nico kind of realizes what his calling was and how this company started, and he goes to the engineers and asks them for help because his processing power obviously is not enough. And they abandon him, and he thinks to himself, well, shit, they left me. Like
Yep.
well, no time to like really mop about it. I'm gonna do what I can, and then they come back with like their own computers and stuff, and they pretty much made it to where they're gonna divide all the work so that his computer doesn't have to handle all the pressure of it,
Yep.
and he gives them all like this like temporary pass to their program, I should say, right? Like I think that's what it is. And,
Yep. Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Oh wow, this is like so much so clean to you, so like so easy. Like who made this, right?" Uh, And pretty much thanks to the help and everything Nico remembered, all the connections he made, they were able to like subdue the mutation Kai. And
Yep.
the president was very happy because Nico was able to, you know, talk to colleagues and stuff now. And we find out that the president was the one that actually made that later.
Yep. The made the program.
Yeah, and
Go president again.
yeah, go for president. And we found out that it's too advanced for like the stuff that most companies use, especially startups, because the president was already working on mutations in that with like mutations in mind in the program apparently. So like the
Mm-hmm.
president kind of had like an up about it, and we found out that well, we didn't find out. We get kind of like hinted at that something major happened like 15 years ago with
Yep.
the president of AST, you know, which is like a former president colleague. And speaking of him, he was such an ass coming in, trying to steal the girls from the president. He's like, all right, you know, this is
I'll pay you better.
yep, I'll double your wages, and,
Asshole of him.
and obviously he told me to not take that too kindly. And he was he was like, well, you know, this isn't really about me trying to steal you guys from the company. It's about me biting the butt of a potential competitor. You know, so like I guess in a way, like it was kind of giving props to the president for having such good people in his hand. Or
In his own way, yeah.
yeah, but also like very dickish of him to just come out here and try to pull this stunt with everybody watching, pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the president pretty much tells him like, you know, I'm gonna be needing you, you know. So like, think about working together with us in the future. And
Yeah, I like that because it's going to come.
yeah, it's
And he brought up that thing that you say about the 15 years ago
yeah,
as a reason to, to 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 consider already, joining forces and stuff like.
yeah, which we know it's gonna end up having to be a case eventually because we've already witnessed two Kai mutations, and they're pretty much willing to bet that it's just gonna get worse now. That's what the president
Yeah.
predicts. So cool, president. I do I do really enjoy the show. Obviously, this looks very good all throughout, and yeah, I can't wait to see how the rest of the season rep goes with this one.
And
And that'll be it for our third part, our third video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
bye.